That's a wrap at 5. Stephen and Luann are next with the News Edge at 6.
Right now, from the news station, a student cuffed for making threats in class. But it was a parent, not the school, that told the cops. Fox 35 investigating the protocol for reporting these threats.
A man hit by a car and left to die.
Wasn't moving, wasn't breathing.
But a witness's quick thinking helping troopers nab the suspect before he got too far.
It felt like something like stabbing into you.
Another shark bite, this time in Brevard County.
A student's GPA, the ticket to the homecoming dance?
And they did not make any exception for children with learning disabilities.
A school's policy not sitting well with some parents. The News Edge at 6 starts right now.
Fox 35 News Edge at 6 starts now.
We begin tonight with breaking news out of Volusia County. Skyfox flying over a house fire in DeBerry. You can see a lot of smoke coming from that home in a wooded area. Fire crews still trying to put it out. The good news, as of now, no word of any injuries.
A student arrested, accused of making a school threat in class. But it wasn't the school reporting him to the cops. It was a parent calling up the police hours later. Fox 35 investigating what are the rules when it comes to keeping your kids safe at school. That student is even accused of threatening classmates. Good evening and welcome. I'm Luann Sorrell.
And I'm Stephen Houck. The news station's Vicki Carr has been digging for answers. She joins us live with the latest. Vicki.
Well, Stephen and Luann, still a lot of questions about how this threat was handled, but parents at this school tell us that they just want answers.
Vicki, thank you. And another student, this time in Brevard County, arrested for threatening a school. Deputies say the student posted this picture of him holding a gun on social media. Another student saw the photo and called police. He's accused of making threats against Edgewood Junior-Senior High School.
A hit-and-run victim left to die, but the suspect doesn't make it far before he's caught.
The news station's Holly Bristow is live tonight with the details. Holly.
Well, the Good Samaritan tells me he always tries to do the right thing, to set a good example for his children. Tonight, he's telling us that he's glad that he was able to help a man who couldn't help himself anymore and investigators.
We are tracking the tropics tonight. Lorenzo is now a major hurricane, but it's Tropical Storm Karen that we need to keep an eye on. Let's check in with the chief, meteorologist Glenn Richards.
That's right. We'll be keeping an eye on Karen as she dies later on this weekend. Right now, we're looking pretty good with Lorenzo, even though it's a big system as anticipated. Look at the forecast track going to the north and eventually north and east, moving away. Winds right now 140 miles per hour. Karen, on the other hand, winds are sitting at 45 miles per hour. It's moving north-northeast to 12. The good news, though, with the system, the actual low pressure center is way up here, well removed away from any thunderstorms. Hurricane center and all the models have now dropped the intensity of this system as it will continue to encounter wind shears we go through the weekend, and also a lot of dry air. So some good news. Here's the latest forecast track. The thing is just going to kind of do a little loop-de-loop. Winds go down to 40, then 35, then 30, and actually by the end of the weekend, it's going to transition into what is called an open wave. In other words, it's going to be ripped apart, and that's the good news. For us here locally right now, looking great. Just 1 or 2 little rain showers north of Ocala, and we currently do have mainly clear skies in Orlando. We'll talk much more about your weekend. Will we see some rain? More on that coming up.
There are dangerous rip currents, and now beachgoers in Brevard County are dealing with another threat in the ocean, sharks. A teenage surfer bitten in the water, not once,
And then it let go, and then it grabbed me again.
but twice. That teenager rushed to the hospital.
The news station's Mike Magnoli is live tonight with the story. Mike.
The kid is taking it in stride, but mom still shaken up by this.
New details tonight about the impeachment inquiry. We're learning more about the whistleblower complaint that sparked the whole thing.
And news station anchor Charles Belay live in studio with the latest. Charles,
Joseph McGuire, the acting director of national intelligence, testifying today. He believes the whistleblower complaint and others involved acted in good faith. But he says it's an allegation that's based on secondhand information. A redacted version of that complaint has now been released. In it, it says President Trump is, quote, using the power of his office to solicit interference from a foreign country in the 2020 U.S. election, end quote. Lawmakers want to know why the director took the complaint to the White House before Congress.
So you went to the subject of the complaint for advice first.
If it does have executive privilege, it is the White House that determines that.
But in this case, the White House, the president is the subject of the complaint.
Central Florida Congresswoman Democrat Val Demings also questioning the director today and holding nothing back.
Do you think it's reasonable for the American people and for this committee on both sides to believe that there is a correlation or a nexus between the president suspending the aid and the conversation that took place on the follow-up conversation?
Yes, Congresswoman, that is the allegation that is made, and I did not have access to the transcripts. My only information was the ICI's cover letter and the whistleblower allegation. The other information coming to light yesterday, as released by the president, changes things in different light.
After the hearing in the House, McGuire had a private closed-door meeting with the Senate Intelligence Committee. Live in the studio tonight, I'm Charles Belay, Fox 35 News.
Charles, thanks. Still ahead on the News Edge, vaping claims its first victim in Florida. We're looking to what Congress plans to do to get e-cigs out of the hands of kids.
Plus, good grades are the ticket to the school dance. But that policy is not sitting well with some parents. Just One Station looking into the issue ahead on the News Edge at 6. Welcome back. New tonight at 6. A school policy causing a tiff with one mother. Her child told she could not go to the homecoming dance because of her bad grades. Just One Station digging into this policy.
The news station's Valerie Boy has the story. Across Florida tonight, the state of Florida now has its first vaping-related death. The Department of Health not giving many details, only saying it was a lung-related illness. The state also says at least 27 people in Florida have reported illnesses from vaping. Meanwhile, the federal government says they're looking into removing all flavored e-cigs from the market. Governor Ron DeSantis signs the death warrant for James Daly for the murder of a 14-year-old girl, Shelley Baggio, back in 1985. Daly's execution set for November 7th. This will be the third Florida execution since Governor DeSantis took office in January. And a big congratulations to Florida's First Lady and Governor DeSantis. They just announced they're expecting their third child. The couple decided to make the announcement today because it's also their 10-year wedding anniversary.
Now, your Fox 35 Weather Authority with Chief Meteorologist Glenn Richards.
All right, congratulations to them. All right, it looks like for us in Central Florida.
It's good. Glenn, thank you. Coming up on the News Edge, what a heartbreaker. Match.com accused of faking online profiles. Why the federal government is now suing that site. Plus, concern over a lack of space at Arlington National Cemetery. Now the Army is considering changing who is allowed to be buried there.
A safety feature or a distraction for drivers? You decide. The City Beautiful painting crosswalks around the city, but this art is about more than just creative expression. We'll explain ahead on the News Edge.
See the Eagles, see the pack, and the Big Ten quarterback. It's Thursday Night Football on Fox. Get your crew together, cause it rocks. Fox 35 is the place. Your team's face to face. It's Thursday Night Football on Fox.
Fox 35 News is brought to you in part by Busch Gardens Howlow Scream.
This is a news alert. The Senate has passed a temporary funding bill to avoid the risk of a government shutdown. This spending plan buys lawmakers some extra time to work on funding issues like the border wall and abortion. This new funding bill gives lawmakers until November 21st to work something out. It now heads to the White House for the president's signature. Arlington National Cemetery is running out of space. Now the Army is proposing new rules on who can be buried there. Under the proposal, only certain groups could be buried below ground, including presidents, vice presidents, Silver Star and Purple Heart recipients, and those killed in action. The Army says they will run out of space at Arlington by the mid-2050s. And the Federal Trade Commission is filing a lawsuit accusing Match.com of relying on fake accounts to entice new customers to buy subscriptions. They say nearly 500,000 people joined Match.com after receiving communications with these fake profiles.
Leave your clown gear at home. That's the message from Landmark Theaters to all the Joker fans hoping to dress up like the notorious Batman villain when they come to watch the movie. In the name of safety and security, several big theater chains have already enacted policies that prohibit moviegoers from donning masks and face paint or bringing props. But Landmark is going a step further. TMZ producer Van Lathan live in Hollywood. So Van, explain why so many groups and people are concerned about safety and security surrounding this specific movie.
They don't think that there's going to be a signal for violence, but they are taking precautions.
Wow, it's a lot to consider. Thank you, Van. TMZ coming up tonight after our late news.
Jurassic Park fans, listen up. The next film in the Jurassic World franchise will have some old faces returning. Actors Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum are all expected to reprise their original roles. Jurassic World 3 is expected on the big screen in 2021. That's it for me, but now here's Stephen again with what's next on the News Edge at 6:30.
Yeah, still ahead, a family dog jumping into action, attacking a very venomous snake, slithering into the family yard. Why the family says he died a hero. Plus, a local group shipping containers to the Bahamas. We'll show you how these crates will be used to put a roof over people's heads. That's ahead on the Fox 35 News Edge at 6. Don't forget Thursday Night Football back on Fox 35. Here's a live look at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. The Packers hosting the Eagles tonight. Coverage starts with Fox NFL Thursday at 7:30. Kickoff set for 8:20. Then stay tuned for Fox 35 News after the game.
And I'm Brian Scott. Coming up all new tonight, are you ready for some football? Because we've got a player who may be like none other in the state high school league. She is putting up the big points on the scoreboard, and she is proving to everyone that she's got the skills to hang with the boys. We'll introduce you to that kicker making major waves. That's tonight after the game on the Fox 35 News.
This is the News Edge at 6:30.
Back at the News Edge this Thursday evening. Here's tonight's Big Six at 6. A Volusia County 13-year-old student arrested, accused of making a school threat. Deputies arrested that student after being notified by a parent, not by the school. A man behind bars in Orange County after troopers say he hit a pedestrian with his car, then left the scene. Someone got his license plate info, leading cops to arrest Walnut Charles. Brevard County parents facing attempted murder charges of their 2-month-old baby. Cops say they took the child to the hospital with broken ribs and seizures. A FedEx truck driver dead after a horrific crash in Seminole County. Troopers say a pickup crossed into the other lane, hitting the FedEx truck head-on. The driver of the pickup in critical condition. A teen in Brevard County recovering after a vicious shark bite. Logan Rad was out surfing when he got bit. 19 stitches to sew him up. Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer introducing the city's new fire chief today. Benjamin Barksdale Jr. will officially start November 15th. Now on the News Edge, a family's dog is dead after he attacked a coral snake, slithering too close to 2 kids. The news station's Jessica Albert talking to that family. Killed. Well, Central Florida is finding new ways to help those impacted by Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas. Local inmates are turning shipping containers into a place to sleep. The news station's Matt Trezza shows us how.
My 65 is now Fox 35 Plus. Shows that rule your hometown team. Plus Central Florida's only local primetime newscast. This is Fox 35 Plus.
Well, it's time to start shopping for Thanksgiving and Christmas flights. AAA says the best time to look for these flights starts tomorrow. Experts say now through the end of October is the perfect time because of flight options, seats, and the best prices. Alexa getting a new voice, which will likely sound familiar. And there are some new faces on the ISS. The news station's Bob Fryer has tonight's Check This Out.
If you're getting sick of hearing the same old Alexa voice, here's some good news. Samuel L. Jackson's smooth baritone will soon be an option for Amazon Alexa users. The e-commerce giant announcing a new technology that allows Alexa to replicate speech inflections of real people, meaning the actor's voice will be synthesized rather than pre-recorded. While the new voice pack will not be able to help with lists or reminders, it can tell jokes and set alarms, play music, and more. Jackson's vocals will be available later this year as a 99-cent upgrade and comes in both clean and explicit versions. Amazon plans to add more celebrity voices next year. Selfie lovers are flocking to a bar in Glasgow where they can take a selfie and then watch as their own photo is printed on an espresso martini. New crew members arriving safely at the International Space Station. The new members arrived at the station safely after a 6-hour flight aboard the Soyuz MS-15, bringing the station's total now to 9. That is the most on board since September of 2015. The newly arrived crew will spend over 6 months at the station. And that's tonight's Check This Out. Bob Fryer, Fox 35 News.
Coming up, how do you like your steak? Rare, medium, well done? The preference most Americans have, and it may surprise you, it did me. And creative crosswalks coming to a street near you. Why some say this art could save your life. First, time for your hot hashtags this Thursday evening. This is what Central Florida is tweeting about tonight. And we start with McGuire. The Director of National Intelligence, Joe McGuire, defending his handling of the whistleblower complaint before a congressional committee which alleges President Trump pressured the Ukrainian president to investigate Joe Biden and his son. Next up, chicken noodle soup. One of the most bizarre trenders of the day, this hashtag skyrocketed all day in anticipation of a new song titled Chicken Noodle Soup being released tomorrow by J-Hope and Becky G. And National Pancake Day, a day dedicated to celebrate a tall stack of sweet, syrupy goodness. Whether you call them pancakes, flapjacks, or hotcakes, stack up a nice pile, lather them in butter and syrup, and enjoy. But please, celebrate responsibly. The NewsEdge coming right back. Painting the city beautiful, even more beautiful. A group is adding a splash of color to some crosswalks around Orlando. But it's more than just art. It could save lives. The news station's Robert Guadarrama explains how.
Now, your Fox 35 Weather Authority with Chief Meteorologist Glenn Richards.
Nice idea, and a good idea here as we approach the weekend. Let's keep all the tropics nice and quiet, keep everything away, and we are going to do that. Right now on radar, though, we are spying a few little showers. Not a huge deal for this evening or tomorrow or even as we get into Saturday, but it looks like on Sunday there will be a few more rain showers popping up. But right now, a couple little showers in northern and Marion County, well west also of Gainesville and Alachua County. Here is the rainfall forecast taking us now through Sunday at about noon. Calling for about a half of an inch of rain in and around Daytona Beach, extending basically from the Flagler County line, excuse me, all the way down to the south over towards Brevard County, around Metro Orlando. Still not showing really much of anything, so I'm expecting to see, again, just a slight chance for a shower this weekend. Best chance would be on Sunday. Right now, our breeze is mainly coming in out of the east and southeast. Temperatures today should be upper 80s. Right now, we are in the upper 80s to about 90, but we were hotter than that a little while ago, 90 in Ocala. A little cooler now with the onshore breeze, 83 along our Space Coast. Over in Melbourne, looks nice. 91 again, the high this afternoon. Early morning low was a little warmer than the last few mornings. The last few mornings we were around 66, 67, 70 degrees this morning. Again, at well off the record high temperature. 87 degrees right now over at Daytona Beach Shores. Beautiful right now with our Daytona Beach International Airport cam. The seas are finally calming down. Clear skies currently in Metro Orlando. Going to be a great Thursday evening. Looking good. Dry weather into the weekend. Humidity will be on the rise, though. And with it will come a slight chance for a few little showers maybe by Sunday and into early next week. The latest cold front is fizzling out, so no major cool down for us. But there is some chilly weather right now hitting up across Green Bay. Big football game tonight on Fox 35. We got Philadelphia, the Eagles against the Packers. 58 degrees at kickoff. It'll be a little windy too. West wind at 10 to 20, so not too cold, but definitely a little chill in the air. But I'm sure everybody's going to enjoy that. Up in Green Bay, they know what's coming in the next few months. For us, we got a nice onshore breeze right now. Again, just a few clouds today, but notice how the clouds have shriveled up, so we do expect to get clear skies for tonight. Low temperature, 73 in Daytona. Out in Lake County, about 74 also over towards Melbourne. Our highs tomorrow back into the upper 80s to about 90 degrees, so getting back to where we should be. Next 7 days, heating up still as we get into Saturday up to 90, and then Stephen will cool it off a little bit with a chance for a few showers and a few clouds starting Sunday.
All right, thank you, Glenn. Coming up next, Orlando City still alive in the playoff chase. We'll show you what went down last night in Portland to keep their hopes alive. Plus, Josh Heupel names his starting quarterback for this weekend's game against UConn. Evan Fitzgerald is in next with the Sports Zone.
Well, falling to Pitt was no laughing matter for UCF. However, the idea that freshman Dylan Gabriel is not the team's full-time starter at quarterback, that does give UCF fans at least a bit of a chuckle. In 3 starts, plus a little more, Gabriel has put up more than 1,000 passing yards and 11 touchdowns. Now, he did throw his first 2 picks at Pitt, but also led the Knights back from a 21-0 deficit before they eventually fell. So even Josh Heupel could see the sense of humor today, at least enough to name him the starter for one game, but maybe not the following week.
Dylan will be starting on Saturday.
Dylan be starting until future notice?
Dylan will be starting.
Tonight, 2 teams with definite playoff hopes.
It is a really good game to kick off Thursday Night Football here on Fox 35. And, of course, Charles Davis will be in for the breakdown with Charles Davis to talk all about the Jags and Bucks. That's after the game tonight in the Sports Zone.
It's going to be good. Look forward to it. Thank you, Evan. Well, the newest Star Wars movie coming out this year will not be the last. We'll tell you who's taking on the dark side now, next.
Fox 35 News app is driven by Toyota of Orlando and Toyota of Claremont.
Download the new and improved Fox 35 weather app today.
Hi, everybody. I'm Charles Belay. A local high school football coach tweets out that his kicker kicks like a girl, and he couldn't be more proud. We'll talk to the kicker and the coach tonight after the game.
Trending tonight, Star Wars fans, get excited. There are more movies coming. The man behind the Marvel movies is now traveling to a galaxy far, far away and is developing a Star Wars film. He's not the only high-profile producer working on new Star Wars content. The men who made Game of Thrones are also creating some Star Wars movies. The most popular way to order steaks in the U.S. is well done. That's according to a new survey. It just beats out medium rare. 24% of Americans say well done is their favorite way to order a steak. Medium rare got 23% of the vote. A new spin on a classic candy bar is generating a lot of buzz. Introducing Snickers Pecan. These limited edition sweet treats are currently only being sold online. A 15-pack will run you $30. They sell fast, though. The first batch is already gone. And don't forget, Thursday Night Football is back on Fox 35. A lovely live look here at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. The Packers hosting the Eagles tonight. Coverage starts with Fox NFL Thursday at 7:30. Kickoff set for 8:20. Then stay tuned for Fox 35 News after the game. If you need news before that, be sure to join us on Fox 35 Plus for the NewsEdge at 8. The only live and local newscast in Central Florida at 8 p.m. We'll be there for you. Hope to see you then. Have a great night, and we'll see you back here later.